You've done some of the advanced work, yeah?
When you work with Christopher, you can sometimes talk with him for an hour and a half, and then sometimes 2 hours, and then sometimes 3 hours. And we talked about athletic performance and training.
One of the things that athletes find is that when they start the method and they've got to retrain their breathing and get used to breathing shallow through the nose, their performance collapses for a while. They have to slow up before they get the result they want. It is really annoying.
That is also an exercise in itself mentally, because that's where a lot of self-judgment comes in. Oh, now I'm doing something worse. I remember when I was little and we had to learn how to swim, and then you could just do it. But then you move up to another level, and then the coach sort of brings in more stroke correction. If you put your hand in the water like this, it's a little better. And then you're doing all the stuff and thinking at the same time, and your performance gets worse. And you're like, oh, I don't want to learn this new method. It's making me slower. But then a couple of weeks later, you can do it better and you're faster. So it's something that I learned as a small child, that's sort of how it works, stroke correction. So now we're just doing stroke correction for the breath. Well, correction for the breath. And it's way more complicated than just changing your stroke. It's the doing of the work. You have to get the breathing under control first and not worry too much about the stroke. Then once the breathing is under control, then you say, okay, now let's do perfect stroke with this breathing. And you have to go way slow just to be able to keep up with it. And then you say, okay, can I swim a couple lengths doing this method, being really slow? Now, can I swim more lengths, being really slow and being perfect and doing this method? In the process, you lose some muscle mass, you lose some strength. And what I have noticed is as you start doing it better and better, the strength starts building back, but very differently. Because you're building it back with the cells of your body, understanding how it's going to receive oxygen. I can't explain it, but I'm swimming along and I'm like, okay, but I did this better already than I did last week and I didn't change too much about it. And it's not like I went down and put my nose to the grindstone, tried to do it harder or do it more or something like that. The body automatically, if you just wait for the physiology to respond, that's where the improvement starts happening. And because you have to almost fall down on the hole and then learn how to dig yourself back out of it, that is a hard mental process to take on. The best advice I can give anybody who wants to have athletic performance is if you want to do athletic performance, you have to train your mind. As you're training your mind, that eventually trains every cell in your body. I feel like there's an intelligence to every cell in your body. You almost have to wait for the cells that don't understand it to die so that the muscle cells that can respond to the method will be able to grow and be in this mental capacity. Each one of the cells are working for you. Slowly but surely, you will get better. I see improvement every single time. At least once a week, I can really notice a big difference. First, you do a pause, swimming one length underwater. Then you do a pause, swimming one length and a little bit underwater. Then you go on to the next one, and you can see the progression that way. And that happens the same in your body. One of the things that is hard to learn in life is patience. We want to be good now. We want to have this now. Everything now, now, now. Watch all your TV shows right now. You want to perform right now. Why is it not improving? I did all this work. Why is it not getting any better? Well, the one that's going to have the most patience is eventually going to have the result. If you stop it prematurely and you say, this method is not going to work, you haven't done it long enough. But I could definitely say for a person who wants to have athletic performance, is start training your brain not to judge where you're at all the time. I'm going to swim a competition in 2 weeks. I'm just going to see where I'm at. Because this is just a starting block. You just, right here, build the block at the very base of the pyramid. The more you build your blocks and the sturdier your pyramid becomes, it's like a big foundation. And you build blocks on top of that. And that blocks, you can imagine it in your brain as muscle cells, and you can imagine it as capacity. You can imagine it as speed and horsepower. It all comes together. Training your physiology is a much more in tune process than just say, let's grind out some miles, or let's grind out some reps or lengths or whatever that might be. Understanding where your mind is sitting while you're doing these exercises and not to judge what happens all the time is what's going to give you the result in performance.